Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Rakesh sir and Vinod sir, for initiating this, and HOD sir. And after giving such a long introduction, I think the you have raised the bar of the delivery of this small session to my fellow students, and I will make extra efforts to make it very valuable, rememberable, and enjoyable. Now we are going to talk today about expectations, and when the expectations don't meet, there's a disappointment. So disappointment on the both sides, right? There's a candle burning on the both sides. Industry need people, graduates need job, and still the matching is difficult. And everybody tries to do something or other to meet or mitigate. So in next hour and a half, so we will be talking about all these things. So now, if I may take a couple of minutes to help you take through this agenda for today, we are going to talk about job and job roles. We are going to talk about knowledge and skills. We are going to talk about job market, right? Where are you going to get job? And then we are going to shift the gears and we can say, how can I, means how can you be part of this job market there? Then how can Skill India, a government of India, can help you, enable you to get this faster? Then we talk about what does industry expect. Then you talk about again going back to your microscopic level, what areas you are suitable for. There may be hundreds of job. Out of that, one is right for you. How you can identify which job is more suitable to you. And then maybe we'll have a bird's eye view about the career planning process, how you can become industry ready. Then I will, if time permits, I will talk about IKC and how IKC, where I work, can help you to achieve your goal faster, better. The art and science of asking questions is the source of all knowledge. I strongly believe in this, right? So I encourage my students to ask questions as your professors do. So here we have decided that we will offer three gifts to our students who ask sensible questions or good questions or astonishing questions. So Vinod sir and Rakesh sir and I will be at the end of this. We'll have a discussion about which questions deserve this, and there will be a career test from NASA to help you identify your strengths, weaknesses, career direction, free of cost. Okay. I hope everybody is ready with pen and pencil, take notes, ask questions, and make me feel, oh wow, this is the college which is dedicated to generating world class students for our nation. All right, take your breath. There are more number of engineers today, okay, who are doing job in non-engineering sector than some of all the engineers who died doing job in engineering sector in the history of humanity. Think of it. So all the engineers may not get a job in engineering field, and they need not. So we as an engineer, we feel that how can we enable engineers to get a job in engineering sector, and that will be the thought process for today. We are going to dwell today on having done education in engineering, what is that you should do in the last mile to get a job in engineering sector. Now, what is engineering sector? Engineering sector has multiple domains. First is called as research, then there's a development, then there's a design. So what do you mean by research? Research is new principles, new processes, mathematical concepts. What is development? It is the use of research, okay, and to convert into working model. So developing something, right? What is design? It is use of this research to develop product specifications. What is production? It is plant layouting, selecting equipment, process, tools. Operations is control of manufacturing, manpower management, and management is economic problems. So you sitting on the other side, fourth year and third year student, will be in one of these buckets in the industry, and you can be there by choice or by chance. And here we are going to talk about how can you choose which domain is more suitable to you, more appropriate to you, and more maybe right for you. Now, as a fresher, you must be opening a newspaper and going to internet and look at various job openings and just trying to apply. And here we see a couple of job openings from Renault Nissan. They talk about interior engineer. They talks about some experience, and they talk about a domain. They also talk about skills, mandatory skills, and they talk about preferred skills. They talk about qualification, skills, and preferred skills. So all these things, if you have in your CV, you are unstoppable. You will get that job. Let's look at something from Mahindra. They are looking for design engineer, but they are looking for chassis, they are looking for powertrain, they are looking for vehicle integration, and this is what they are looking for in that particular person. And can you be that person? How you can be that person is going to be the discussion topic today. Now, I am sure these are the dream companies for you to work for, but let's see what is the current hiring scenario. We all know COVID-19 disrupted the economy, industry, we are all sitting at home. Since the first wave, we saw improvement, but in second wave we saw some dip. But I am very optimistic that it will pick up soon. Another 6 months we should be back to normal. So this is a job index. Okay. Now, how is this job index distributed? This is distributed across cities like Mumbai is 5% better improvement, maybe Delhi is minus 11%, Jaipur is down, we talk about Pune is growing. Okay, Pune has already caught up with this and trying to grow. So this is a city-wise recruitment, city-wise job opportunities available for you. Now let's look at year-wise. You as a fresher, you still have some time to wait because it is still not still on negative side when we see the last year or last month comparison. So keep patience, keep working on what we will be discussing in this webinar, and I'm sure this red will become green soon, and if you have necessary skills you will be able to sail in that boat. Now, I had a chance to work with many of these dream companies. I am sure you also have a desire to work, and we'll see what do these companies look for in freshers, right? On one side is getting the interview call, on other side is qualifying the interview and getting the offer letter and start working. So next couple of slides are for you. Take notes. So what are the essential attributes industry look out? I had been in industry for 3 decades and I have taken thousands of interviews, and this is the takeaway of all this experience I am putting in front of you. So what does industry look in a fresher? A good grasp on basic principles of core technical subjects. If you talk about stress, what is stress? If you talk about material, what are the properties? If you talk about mechanisms, what are the degrees of freedom? Core concepts, basic concepts, right? Good understanding about design and manufacturing processes. You have first year of engineering, workshop technology, and then you have machine design. So understanding about design, how does gear getting designed, how does shaft is getting designed, what is the manufacturing process for what is forging, what is stamping. Ability to apply analytical thinking to analyze the problem is very important. You had a chance to work on laboratory, you had a chance to work on seminars and your long term project. So they will ask you about what did you do, how you do differently, and why you did. And they are trying to build up impression in their mind. Yes, you have analytical thinking, you can analyze the problem and find out solution. Fourth comes CAD expertise. Here is where we get confused. Sir, कटिया करना है, क्रियो करना है, sir hypermesh करना है, and you feel that that alone is going to give you job. And many people land into disappointment because CAD is essential, but not very important. It is as number four, okay, in terms of the requirements from the industry or expectations. 5. Ability to think critically, creatively, independently, and collaboratively. Very important. In BE, you do a project with 4 people, then you do seminar where you present to many people. So, AICT is looking for developing these skills in you. Can you independently work? Can you work within a team? How creative you are? So, for third year student, you still have one more year to go. Start thinking about all these attributes and talk to your professors and see how you can build this. This is very important measurement processes. Now everybody has labs, and many times we see that there is all copy paste of lab experiments you do, which is not good, because testing is inherent part of product development. The sensors, the data acquisition, analysis of data, the noise versus signal, all these things are very important from industry point of view. So make sure that you candidly work on your labs and your projects and acquire necessary skills required on testing. Of course, capability to organize the data, communication skills are last but not least, but very important that any OEM or company sees. Now, the question that you may ask, yeah, I have most of the things with me, but still, maybe I struggle. Okay, that is the next slide. Now, this is the essential attributes. Now, let's look at what are the desirable attributes, right? Having had something mandatory, now there's a tie between you and your friend, and then see what is that he has differently. So they look out for design processes. Have you ever designed a product? Have you ever designed a cell phone cover? Have you ever designed maybe suspension system? Have you ever designed a water bottle? Whatever it may be. Statistics is going to play a very important role. Industry 4.0 coming up. Most of the data is getting analyzed to a big data, and statistics is very important. Make sure that your probability statistics concepts are very clear. Commercial awareness. You should be able to do costing and economic assessment of a product. Additional skills are very important. I have given very much weightage to this. Like Six Sigma is the way of life. It is a philosophy of doing things. So make sure that you have another technical skills like Six Sigma in your CV or in your personality. Extracurricular activities are very important. Those who have helped Rakesh sirs and sir to arrange this webinar or do some placement activities or work in gatherings may be very important. You should highlight this in your interview. It is appreciated. Ethical standards, चलता है, देख लेंगे, करे लेंगे. This is not what is accepted in this, right? If you say, oh yeah, I learned Creo, but I have learned by myself and I use cracked software, and then there's the ethical problem, right? So never ever tell interviewer that you have learned anything by yourself, because these tools are very costly. They are either available in the college or in the training centers. So they will judge you based on what you say, what you don't say. Okay, so be very careful, and we will talk about that as time goes on. A positive disposition. How sick COVID, you say I don't get interview calls, so I don't get job, that's I need job. So how positive you are, global awareness, what is happening in different parts of the world, India-China conflict, how it is going to impact India's economy versus Mexico's economy versus the developing countries and developed countries. Your overall is going to be a very, very important. Now, going back, essential and desirable. If you have all these things, you are unstoppable. You will get what you are looking for. I will help you to get what you are looking for. And if you lack in something, start thinking. See what is that is missing in what proportion, and then make a plan for that. Now we talked about two words. We talk about job. We talk about career. Let's clarify a bit on this. Job is something when you do and you are getting paid for. I do job in XYZ company, my salary is this and that's it. But career is a journey through learning and all aspects of life. So career is a superset of job. So from today, don't say that I'm looking for a job. Say I'm looking for a career. And you will get enormous opportunities in front of you, believe me. And we're going to talk today about career. I'm sure all of you are excited. Great. Now going back to the basic principle. You have seen this slide n number of times. Your professors have said to n number of times, but still I thought, let me reiterate. Engineers create solutions to human problems. Very important. We don't work on CAD, we don't work on CAE, we don't work on production. You need to create solutions to the problem. If you are not creating solutions, you are not engineer. Engineer continue invent and create solutions. So change your vocabulary that you are looking for a job, you have done these sources, you say whatever problem you can solve, what you can create and innovate, what are the needs today, and then you get self-propelled towards your career. For next maybe 4 minutes, I am going to talk to you about a research which I have had privilege to attend this webinar from NASSCOM, that post-COVID recalibration. Now ER&D, engineering research and development, is the total amount of money the world spends on developing products. Whirlpool, Samsung, Philips, Boeing, Tata Motors, Airbus, Emerson, we name. All companies put together, their sum is $1.358 trillion is spent into that. And when somebody says I am working in Tata Motors, the part of this money goes salary to him. And we saw there was a decrease. So either there was a decrease in manpower, or there was a decrease in salary, or there was a decrease, or there was a companies were shut down. So we all have witnessed that. We have all witnessed the sad time. And then every company, every industry, every government is trying to do something to bring back the economy to normalcy. And last year we saw $1.38 trillion again back to normalcy, and we are going to grow by about 9% CAGR. So that's good news. Don't be disheartened by looking at the near future. Okay, look beyond. I think that is the purpose I wanted to show this slide to you. Now let's go a little microscopic and let's look at two industries of interest to you: automotive and maybe aerospace. Automotive had $158 billion, that has reduced 9%. Again, it is expected to grow 9%. And we already have seen indicators that ER&D is going to grow, that is, many people will get job in automotive and aerospace industry. This is from India. So capital goods, Indian prediction is that it is going to grow at about 3.8% CAGR. Engineering is going to grow at about from 36 to $42 billion. So India also is not lacking behind. It's also taking a leap and growing with the world's statistics that we just saw. Now, growing in what? Will the things remain same post COVID and pre COVID? Will the graduates will be looked at in the same lens as they were looked in 2018? The answer is no. And this slide is very important for all those who are very serious about the career and planning a long-term career. So these are the few technology segments who are going to uptrend, who are going to go up. So we talked about TeleX, we talked about contactless, intelligent workplace, and digital trade. This is what I'm going to talk to you about it. Suppose somebody says, sir, I want to build myself post-COVID for the industry. Then these are the 5 technology areas you should stick to, or you should rely on, or you should hang on to. Now, what is Gen X? Gen X product design and development is this flow chart. It talks about real-time collaboration. That is what we are doing today now. I am sitting here in Pune, you are in Mumbai, somebody is in somewhere in the hometown, and we are all connected to technology. It's all technology-driven design. You need not be at the company campus so you have enormous opportunities to you don't need visa to work in US now. You can work in India and start working in US if you are right person for them. You have a virtual visa for them, right? You were connected to internet. So I have many students working for Germany, for Switzerland, from sitting in Pune and in India. So because this is a geographical limits are no more the barrier, because you are working to different technology. So augmented reality, we talk about real time, we talk about computer vision based, remote, 3D printing. So these are the areas for the future. This is how the product will be developed. Now, what is the strategy around? And if you look at the human resource, this is again the part of the research that has been done. An important point I would like to highlight here is creating the talent pool. So, industry oriented domain learning for freshers has been identified as one of the important key enablers for India and worldwide to help bounce back this economy. And this is what precisely we do, and we'll tell you how we do it. Now, let's have a 30,000 feet view. We are here and rest of the world is around, and if we don't do it, there are other people who are eagerly waiting for our failure. So, for ourselves, for our nation, it is our responsibility to roll our sleeves and start working differently so that we can sustain and take advantage of this disrupted economic situation. What is Government of India doing about it? Wow, 10% of the GDP, like $2.7 trillion, has been pumped into Indian economy, and focus is on human resource, right? So India has aspiration to build a globally employable human resource. We talked about demographic dividend. We say young country. So going further, you all have chances to work in all parts of the world, provided you see that target, because we cannot hit the target you cannot see. So in this webinar, I am going to make sure that you have a vision to see what is in front of you. Those who want to be entrepreneur, start thinking about local ke liye vocal and local to global. There are many opportunities here which you can grab, and we can help you to become a good entrepreneur. Alright, now we have talked about a lot of things. Now let's look at a ground reality. Let's look at what for me. What for me? What for me? Alright, as we discussed, you have option to work in industry like Tata Motors, Volkswagen. You can become a good teacher. You can work in consulting companies, that is companies who are not product companies but providing services to the product companies. For example, Tata Technologies, KPIT Cummins, you talk about Tech Mahindra, IT companies, you talk about software development company like Dassault System, PTC, talk about Siemens. You can work in government jobs or you can start your own company. You can work, suppose you want to work in industry, you can work in design, you can work in research, you can work in development. But the million dollar question is that what is right for me? What is that I should do to qualify for one of the job roles? The first step is self assessment. I say this as a basic step for you to know what type of job role, what type of career you should be looking at is self assessment. I'm sure many of you must have done during your engineering, but I'm going to share with you some of the world class assessments that are available. What do you mean by self assessment? It understands your personality, your motivation, your skills required, your behavior, and the knowledge and learning that is suitable and appropriate for you. Wow. So it is you, your package. When you say Atul Patil consists of this person who has a set personality, who's motivated to do something, and has a set behavior and set knowledge. How do we do this? I would recommend a psychometric assessment which is conducted by NASA. This has two parts. One is called as behavior, other is called as workplace driver. Workplace driver talks about your workplace related success master key. It talks about your happiness, success, what is important to you, what is not important to you. We conduct these tests at IKSC and all the participants qualify for 33% discount if they prove that they are attending this webinar. This will enable you to know your strengths, weaknesses, career directions, options, what to do, what not to do, how much to do and when to do. Alright, after doing self-assessment, after identifying, okay, I want to get into this, I want to do this, the second question is academics. How you have been performing in your college, how you have been doing justice to your subjects. And the reality is that there are thousands of colleges, lakhs of students pass out, and you are one amongst them. There's had thousands of people coming back to India after higher education abroad, and you are one amongst them. So you need to be different. And how different? We'll see. Now this is just to give you idea about the complexity of the product. A typical small size car has about 5,000 components. A typical aircraft has a 5 lakh components. So those who like to work on high tech areas, maybe aerospace, maybe automotive or consumer goods is fine. Now let's look at the new product development. We talked about ER&D, engineering research and development. We talked about $1.358 trillion in that. This is how the typical NPI process look like in an industry. There is a market research, there is a product packaging, there is a developing a product, designing a product, analyzing a product, then you talk about developing and managing. Now go back to your mark sheet or go back to your own self and see, did you like these subjects like mathematics, maybe economics, maybe then you are suitable for these particular activities. If you like vibrations, reliability, then you are suitable for this particular activity. If this is the case, this is a rule of thumb. This will help you get some idea. Okay, I like these subjects. Maybe this particular part of the new product development or industry, I'll be more happy in doing it. Second, this particular part is called research. This is called design. So this is development. So you will be able to know, okay, I am suitable for design, I am suitable for research, I am suitable for development or operations and likewise, right? So you got now idea based on the subjects you like, based on the interest you have, which particular department you should be going. And the psychometric test, in addition to this, will be a game changer for you to decide. Second step, having Then justice to academics, distinction, first class. Second is domain knowledge. So what is the domain knowledge? Domain knowledge is something which is a specific knowledge for a product. The person working in powertrain may not be very useful in body, or the person working in production may not be very good in testing, right? So the knowledge that is accumulated by working on a system again and again, by asking questions why, how, the knowledge is called as domain knowledge. Some examples: looking at the things that our eyes cannot see is domain knowledge. Impact, maybe safety, reliability, quality, is all examples of domain knowledge. So domain knowledge is very very important for you to qualify for right interview calls and right jobs and getting into the right career. Having seen at these colorful slides, let me give you a small example how this domain knowledge gets generated into an industry. This is a vibration problem. In third gear, when this particular vehicle was driven, and there was a small vibration, and there was a smart engineer like you sitting and was required to analyze this. So he did benchmarking, find out the system level targets. Then he did a stiffness optimization, behavior optimization. Then talked about static load, mobilities, sensitivity, and then find out the joints and sections that are required to isolate this problem or minimize this problem or reduce the problem at the source. Some more example: this particular part was failing after 10,000 kilometers, which is not a good sign. So the engineer like you sitting on the other side understood the problem. He used the tools like maybe Patran, Nastran, fatigue analysis. He built up a model, he analyzed, and he found out the number of cycles for failure. He optimized the part to improve the life. This is called as fatigue analysis. One more example: dashboard of a car, and there was a deformation which was not acceptable by the customer. So this particular engineer did a thermal analysis using Nastran hypermesh to predict deformations. The mold was modified and the fitment problems was solved. These are examples of domain knowledge. Some more example: this is a small size car, maybe less than 800 kg, required to be safe or want to have a 5-star rating. Perform the frontal catch. The weight was little above the required weight of 800 kg, so weight reduction was required. And the crash behavior was appropriate safety point of view. This particular engineer conducted a test 40% offset, redesigned the parts and reduced the weight and improved the intrusion. Pat on the back, promotions, salary hike, and applaud to his work in the industry. Are you one amongst them? Do you like to be like this person? Is the question you need to ask. So there are various domains in which you can build up your career. Alright. So third step after thinking about the domain is the software skills. And this is what is highly talked about, which comes quite late in the ranking from industry point of view we saw earlier. So these particular softwares are for particular purpose. The people who work with concept design, they use like Creo, CATIA, Unigraphics, etc. Those who work in analysis, they use ProMechanica, they use Hypermesh, Radios, OptiStruct. Those who work with nonlinear, they work with Nastran, Abacus, LSDyna. Those who want to work in manufacturing, there's a Delimia, iGrip, Hyperform. A PLM related career path has Windchill, Teamcenter, Innovia, Matrix. So, as we are getting into digital world, software is inevitable part of any operations of the organization. So look at these as a tools to help you discover the problem and solve the human problems and find solutions to that by creating and innovating. After knowing academics, domain knowledge, software skills, let's talk about employability skills now. What is that? In addition to this, industry will look out. What is that I should do to get there? And these are very text heavy slides, but I thought it will be interesting for you to at least take a screenshot and look at this in the later point of time. So mathematics is very important. Don't get away with this. Complex problem solving. Okay, easy problem solving is always easy for anybody, but solving a complex problem always has been a challenge. Critical thinking. Okay, logic and reasoning is very important. Science, of course, is very important. Reading skills are very important. I see that this skill is missing. When I give a research paper to an engineer, he fails to abstract the information from the research paper. So build your habit on reading. At least one research paper per week, at least one patent per month. You will see lot of awakening of these skills in you. Listening is very important. We try to answer before the question gets finished. Interviewer, when he's asking questions, make sure that he stops. You think and then you answer. There is no hurry. Asking questions is very important. We talked about judgment and decision making. Very important. Time management, writing and speaking skills. So these are the skills required. So somebody asks you what are the skills required in addition to what we discussed. Wow, you got answer now today. You have to just identify what level you are, what you should do and start doing it. What are the abilities required? And we are talking about employability. We are talking about what is that you should be doing. So what are the skills required we just saw? What are the abilities required? So oral comprehension. Are you able to conduct a meeting? Are you able to talk? Are you able to communicate? Is very important. Written, you have to write emails, you have to write memos, you have to write research papers, you have to write reports. Very important. This is important. Problem sensitivity. One may see problem. So your customer comes and say, सर ये गाड़ी में ना ये डोर का आवाज़ आ रहा है. And you say, कहाँ पे आवाज़ है? ये तो ठीक है, नॉर्मल है. So you should be very sensitive for recognizing there is a problem. And most of the time we overlook it or we take it हल्के में लेना उसको कहते हैं, right? So don't do that. Be sensitive. Information ordering is very important. You should be able to collect data. Next world is going to be data. So make sure that you have a data analytics skills acquired in these 4 years. Near vision is important. Okay, ability to see details. Okay, in microscopic way, and of course you should be able to look at from telescope the customer view also. Oral comprehension and oral expression is also important. Deductive reasoning is very important, right? Specific problem and answer to a specific problem. Inductive reasoning is also very important. And of course your graphic skills, visualization. Suppose you have working on a CAD, you move the model and you want to understand how the model fits there. So you should be able to quickly, because it's like working in a zero gravity. You can make your car move upside down and try to visualize what it is. So you have to work in a zero gravity. And I see many times many students don't have these skills, right? Alright, good so far, I think so. Now, having seen activities, abilities, or maybe talked about skills, now let's look at what does a mechanical engineer do in his job. He makes decisions. Okay, he analyzes information, evaluates results. He interacts with computer. He processes data. He gathers information. He communicates. He evaluates. Organized. Then he identifies the objects, categorizes them, recognize, processing information gathered here, communicating and analyzing data. Looks so simple. But if you identify where you are weak, where you are strong, highlight that in your CV, I am sure you are on right track. I hope so far useful, so far informative, so far interesting. Assuming that if you are not, maybe ping me, I will change the approach. Again, $1 million question that one should be asking: is it a breadth of knowledge or a depth of knowledge that is important? Should I be expert in something, or should I have a knowledge of many things? And let's go back in time. Let's go back when I was like you, 30, 40 years ago. This was the scenario, a depth of knowledge. I am expert in this, I am expert in this, I get into company, retire in this company, first job, last job. But this is 2021. We need a business knowledge, we need technical knowledge, we need operations knowledge. All the things are required to make you industry ready. And you are fresher. You need to make efforts to acquire these skills a little way. Show the interviewer that you are on right track. He will help you to improve your graph properly. So you will get what you are looking for. By the way, this is the minimum level to master a topic. So you cannot just say, okay, I worked on CATIA for 2 months and I know CATIA, right? Maybe that is not what industry will understand or will agree on. They say minimum time is required for anybody to say I am expert or I know what I am talking about. And that minimum level we are going to talk about. What is that minimum level? Is it 3 months? It is 6 months? It is 1 year? And there is a concept called as NSQF levels, and we are going to talk about that. Hold on your breath. Alright, so we talked about self-assessment, we talked about academic skills, we talked about domain knowledge, software skills and employability skills. What else? You have to research. Okay, what do you want to research? You want to research on career trends. Okay, should I go for data analytics? Should I go for Gen X product development? Should I go for analysis? Should I go for design? Then you have to search information, and that is what I am going to pass on today. I am going to pass on information to you. Right? Then we are going to see what are the jobs. Then we are going to see the. Then we are going to see the next step, which is making decisions about what type of career you should be doing. Here, your career objectives, your personal objectives, your lifelong learning and goal setting is very important. Without vision, if you start your career, it will land up into wrong place, and it is irreversible process. Then comes your vision, right? So what today is a networking session. So you know my contact number, you know my email address. You can, if you want, you can contact me. You can persuade me to help you. So networking is very important. And we should thank Rakesh sir and Vinod sir for enabling you guys to network with me today. So these sessions are not for the sake of sessions. This is a networking sessions. Make use of these sessions and you will get a number of sessions in your life hence. So make sure that you adhere to this. It's a very important part of a career planning process. Then we talked about wealth generation. Job will give you salary. Job will never ever help you generate wealth. If you want to generate a wealth of 5 crores, 10 crores when you retire, you have to think about career. Job will help you survive. Job will help you pay the bills. Job will help you to live the life, but will not help you generate the wealth. So we are going to talk about how you can generate wealth for you and your family. How you can become wealthy in your life by properly planning and engaging into a long-term career. And the last step is work-life balance. You have your family, you have your job, you have your career, you navigate the job to manage your career, and then it's called as career management. This is the last step of your career planning process. I hope it was some thought provoking. It has given some food of thoughts for you to think about. Many of engineers on this call must be dreaming about starting their career in these organizations. Somebody wants in Pune Tata Motors, somebody wants to go to Germany, somebody I want to go to US, I want to go to Honda Motors in US, General Motors, Airbus. Few companies where I worked for, I have made sure that I use those photographs. Now the question is, what is the road to this organization? Which road I should follow? Because in order to go to destination, we have to follow road. In order to go to Mumbai from Pune, I have to take a road, which is expressway or maybe the national highway. Without road, we cannot reach our destination. Now roads, we are very familiar with the roads. We see the roads all the time. We come to junction, we take a decision. So you took a decision on 12th standard, I want to do engineering, and you started moving into engineering front. Then you took some split second decisions. You say, okay, I want to do mechanical, electrical, I want to do this elective, that elective, I want to select this or that. Or split second decision, you take this side or that side. After that, you come to a roundabout. Say you are done your engineering. It's okay, alright. Should I do my MTech or should I do government service? Should I do a job? Should I do MBA? So you get sufficient time to take a path. You are at that stage now. And after some time you realize that you are one amongst many people and neither you can go front or back. You are in traffic jam. Life is moving. You are living. But somebody else is controlling your speed. Maybe something is wrong. Maybe something is wrong here. Maybe something is wrong here. Maybe something is wrong here. And that is resulted into this. Sometimes you may see, oh my goodness, the road is closed for time being. This is what I can do with what I have. Sometimes you may feel that the road is just closed because of some disaster. And you are stopped. Company has closed down. Maybe health issues. Maybe family responsibilities. And the next few slides are going to help you choose the right road for your right career to help you become successful in the way you should be. This is our wish. A big road, empty road. You know where you want to go. You have a control on your car. You can decide the speed and you can enjoy the journey. I am sure you are looking for a journey like this, and this we call as career journey. So with the kind permission from HOD, Rakesh sir, Vinod sir and you, all of you, let me dwell something about my journey. How I am trying to generate passion in the fresh engineer like you, enable them to choose the right career path, work with them for them to reach their career goal. And it started, the journey started with formation of this company called as IKSC, where what we do, we convert information into knowledge, knowledge into skills, skills into competencies that will lead to career. This is abundant, just like a sunlight. This is very difficult to acquire. This is very specific to be acquired. This is the level in which you need to be in order to get career started. So this is in a way a very complicated process, but very simple process. Like every day there is a sunrise and there is a sunset and there is a monsoon and there is a winter and summer, and so it is like that for those who understand what I am saying. For those who are not understood, it is difficult. Because driving motorcycle was very difficult until you started driving it. The same. I have gone through this path multiple times, so I am sharing with you how. So, me as a Dr. Atul Patil, what do I do in my daytime? Aim of the company is transforming India to Bharat. So, whatever I do is around Bharat to make Bharat a prosperous country. So, I start with Future Bharat. I spend a lot of time counseling 8th standard to 12th standard students about their career, about their personality development and training programs so that they can become passionate for this nation. Present Bharat is about engineering students like you. We will conduct psychometric tests, career guidance, academic help, domain training, software certifications, interview preparations, and all sort of things to help you. For management students, and of course for current India, where many people lose job, many people don't like their job, many people want to change their career, so we call it mid-career correction. We help them to restart their life and career. We call ourselves as a partner for career development. So, in what way IKC can help you? We can help you acquire domain knowledge. We saw is very important. We'll acquire software skills. We saw how ethically important it is to acquire software skills. We'll help you work on projects because project is something which will generate knowledge. We'll help you get all employability skills. We will help you come closer to your dream career. We will visit the website. I will help you go to the website and see what to find where. We will also go through this website, which is from the Skills Ministry. Here you will see a lot of things that are available for freshers. We will talk about a specific industry side, automotive side. We will see what are the initiatives, what are the training programs available for you, made by Government of India for you to start your career. This is how the curriculum looks like. This is from Government of India, talks about from the Automotive Council, has different levels called as NSQF level, National Skills Qualification Framework. There are 10 levels, 1 to 10. And we will see what do this level means and what level you should start your career. IKC Knowledge Base is affiliated to Government of India for all these training programs. So what are the typical job roles, what are the typical courses, what are the typical skills and competencies required? Maybe there is a powertrain requirement, a design engineer powertrain. Maybe there is a interior designer, automotive interior. There is a non-linear analysis expert. Maybe there is a aerospace engineering design. There can be a chassis design. There can be BIW design, crash analysis or non-linear analysis, wiring harness, electric vehicle design. So many options are available. It's just a matter of you choosing the right course, becoming expert in that, and starting career in that direction, leading to your destination. The certifications are national certifications and they are valid worldwide. These are the companies which come to campus at IKSC, and you can qualify for one of these companies to start your career depending on your domain knowledge, your interest and passion. Get certified from ASDC, Skill Council, and distinguish yourself from the crowd. We heard about Rakesh sir talking about some recognitions. So we got the award from Skills Ministry for the best institute for placement. Out of thousands of training institutes in India, we are the only one best in class. That's what government is saying. We got the award for best training program quality. Now we are going to spend some time on the website and see how you can search information. So when you go to design, you will see lot of design related activities here. You can go to interior design, automotive. If you are a aesthetic person, then you can go here. This is the course content. These are the companies who are currently hiring the designers. If you go to analysis, you can go for like multi-body dynamics, NVH, durability, crash. You can go here. You will see the course content and then the companies who are hiring. You can go with the psychometric test and understand what is the psychometric test for engineering students, how it is conducted. Go to placements and see the what students have to say about their experiences with IKSC. This is important. In addition to the skills we talked about, these are generic skills required for 21st century. Go through this, try to understand. Now let's go to Skill India site where we talk about Government of India Skills Ministry site. So more than 10,000 training centers and different training. We are one of them. You can go to Partners and Skill Council, and then there will be different councils. Suppose you want to work in aerospace, go here. Agriculture, you can go here. Automotive, you can go here. When you click on automotive, the automotive council will come up. So the job of automotive council is to liaison between automotive industry and government of India and the education system to build necessary skills required for the industry. So go to training and say training resources and say standards, and you will see the different job roles. For manufacturing, those who want to work in manufacturing, these are the job roles. Research and development, these are the job roles. Suppose we say I have to work in CAE, go and click here. There's a curriculum available, there's a qualification pack, you can download this and then you can open this and you will see the qualification pack and you will see the different levels. NSQF level 6 and then you have the requirements for this. Now what is this NSQF level? Is given in this gazette. This is the Gazette of Government of India, talks about NSQF levels. So there are 10 levels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So IKC can provide training for level 5, 6 and 7. So what does this level means? Level means a person after the training and mentoring and coaching should acquire these core skills, these professional skills and this professional knowledge and should be ready to take this responsibility. So in general, more the level, more is the responsibility you can take up in the organization. So you can go through this and see what type of job role suits you. Let me take you through the psychometric test. The psychometric test will give you the report like this, which will talk about your motivators related to workplace. It will talk about your behavior. It will talk about your personality. It will talk about your strengths, weaknesses, your what type of style and pattern you have, which will help you to select the right career path. Suppose you want to know like what your CV should look like. Then your CV should look like this. Maybe your personal statement, the college and where you belong to, what type of domain knowledge you have, what type of software skills you have, what are domain process skills you have, what are the projects you are working on, what are your strengths and weaknesses. If you want to work in a semi-technical area, then maybe what type of domain knowledge, project management, you have operations and you have project planning, then risk assessment, supply chain. This is for the CAE. Then talked about crash analysis, hypermesh, LS-DANA, talks about the projects you're working on, crush box analysis, maybe synthesis, side pole impact. So if your CV looks like this, I wonder why you should not get an interview call. So we are coming to the point where we will be talking about or discussing about some questions that you have, and then we will have more open-ended discussions regarding this. So I'm going to stop here and then take some questions.
Sir, it's a common question. Like, according to Doctor Abdul sir, so what would be what should we take? We should go for job or we should go for higher studies? What would be what is your
Yes, Jasil, thank you for asking that interesting question. Okay, it is always we have to dwell upon the short term and long term, right? So, if your aspirations are to become a CEO, a president, executive director in an organization, higher education is must. You cannot expect you to be a graduate engineer and somebody will offer you a highest post in organization. But now the question that you are facing today or you are thinking is, what is the right time? I want to do, but what is the right time? What is a good time? Any time is good time, but the right time is after you have a industry experience. When you go for higher education, that is the right time for you,
okay?
because you are spending lakhs of rupees on your education. If you go with the purpose of not only getting a degree but getting a knowledge and know how and know what, that purpose is fulfilled when you go there with a purpose. All right.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Uh, Danish Khan from third year mechanical engineering want to ask you how you tackle your bad times or confusions. Confusion like I have a complete study now. In which sector should I go? Should we grab small opportunities even if we are trying for bigger opportunities? This is the question from Danish Khan.
Hello, Danish. Very, very interesting question. It shows that you are thinking about short term and long term. Good. So, let me take the first question. How do you tackle your bad times or confusion? Right? So, bad time can be categorized as a health issues or maybe I can say the industry not ready to take freshers or whatever, right? Okay. So some things are in your control, something are beyond your control. So things which are in your control, you should act on that, not beyond your control. So, for example, today in the COVID situation, whether industry will hire me or not should not confuse you, but what is that I should do in my life should confuse you. And as I said, the basic step for reducing this confusion is self-assessment. Get help of psychometric assessment in your city, wherever you are, and try to understand your personality. Try to compare the job roles that we just saw with your personality and see what type of job role suits you. Right? Now the second question is, having studied now which sector I should go. Again, it is outside in view. It is like electric vehicles are going faster now. Should I go there or this is getting better? So the question is, what do I like is very important rather than where the demand is. Of course, demand is there because we saw world is growing at about 8%. So you are very small in that particular contribution. So focus should be on understanding what you like versus where the demand is or which sector you should go. Again, a careful mentoring from mentors like us or from wherever you know will help you to discover your passion. And keep in mind the word passion. Passion is the fuel for your success. Without passion, you will hardly succeed in your job and career. So, discover your passion and then select the job role or sector you want to work. And the last part of your question is, should we grab a small opportunities even if we are trying for the bigger? The answer is no. Answer is we have to wait for right opportunities because we cannot undo things. Suppose you buy a motorcycle today, 100 cc, and tomorrow you want to buy 250 cc. You cannot just change the label and make it 250 cc, or you cannot sell and buy another. You have to wait for your things to happen. So the things that come, the small opportunities come by chance, but big opportunities you have to choose. So in my life, I have never gone for a smaller opportunities or immediate opportunities. I always waited for the right opportunities for me, and then till that time I have invested. I kept my courage, I kept my coolness in my activities, and waited for right time to come, and then started working on that. I hope it has answered you, Danish.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Let me go to the other side, which is fourth year now. This is a question from Yash Patil. Okay. See, majorly whenever we apply for a job, they all want some kind of job experience, but no one is ready to take freshers. How should we tackle this situation? So this is a fact of life. Okay, once upon time you were a small kid working, studying in first standard, second standard, then 12th standard. Now you are here. So everybody, like me, also was a fresher once upon a time, right? So you should not worry about the things which are not in your control. You are a fresher. Accept it. You are a fresher. So some people say they want experienced people. Let them go. Let them go. Those who want experienced people. Look out for those who need freshers. And there are n number of companies who need freshers. But freshers with a specific mindset, specific skills, and specific abilities. Fresher without absence of all these things are just a fresher, and industry don't need that. So how to tackle this situation? To go back to this presentation, see what are the abilities required, skills required, what does interviewer want, tick one by one, prepare a roadmap, what is that you should do to acquire those skills and competency. Take some Skill India training. There can be a this Skill India training is counted as an experience for freshers in industry. So maybe that question will get up to some extent answered, but more important is the certification and the knowledge you acquire will help you to qualify for right interview calls. Yash, is it okay? Jasmeet Joshi. Okay, how did you overcome the obstacles faced by you when you were fresher, and what are the obstacles that are faced by freshers in today's world? Good question. Now, when I was fresher, the things were different. There were only 8 or 10 colleges in India, in Maharashtra, and the rule was either engineering or medical, and we were motivated to work on that. And I was fortunate that I topped in Maharashtra in engineering in my 12th standard, so I could get any college that I wanted. So I opted for VNIT Nagpur, where I did my engineering, and I topped that. So I was fortunate to get a job, and then a lot of fortunate things happens with me. I always had been choosing what I wanted in my life. But when I went into corporate world, when I started interviewing the people, students, I realized that there is a gap between what is expected and what is there. And there is where I started long time back. How can I help freshers? But as was bounded by the corporate world and busy with all the things that I was doing, I hardly had a time to really spend with freshers like you and discuss and mentor them. But today, that is my mission. My mission is to work with all Jasmeet and other people to help them discover their passion, help them to become positive, help them to become resourceful for the organizations. What does industry need today? Industry need passionate people with clear focus on what they want to do, and they will exceeding the expectations of the supervisor. And if you go through the Skill India side, go through the FMVSS framework, go through this NSQF framework, you will understand. Or maybe visit one time to IKC Pune, or have a Zoom call with me. I will be able to help you. What is that extra you should do to really reduce the anxiety that you have, and plus help you get ready for the industry. I hope, Jasmeet, I have given some insight into your clarification that you need.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me go to the other side where we talk about third year students. Devang. Sir, I want to ask you that you have tell us that today's world, more than the deep knowledge, we are required various knowledge, many subjects, and how to pursue it. Good question. And also, while working, we can pursue knowledge and generate better skills. Good question. So, there are multiple questions in that. It talks about career planning, career management. Very good, Devang. I'm impressed. Vinod sir, Rakesh sir, about the quality of the students. Very well, good. You are doing a very good job. HOD, you are doing a very good job in mentoring your students. And it's my privilege to interact with the smarter guys like you, with your students. Now, knowledge and skills, we often get confused. When we start working, we acquire skills and not knowledge. Because we work on something. By working is skilling. Knowledge has to be acquired from books or from Guru. Guru Dakshina, right? When Guru gives you something, that is knowledge. So when you are studying, your teachers are your Guru and they are giving you knowledge. So skills can be different. So you can be very good multitasking person. You can be very good in creating reports. You can be very good in CAD tools. You can be very good in analyzing tools. So there are different job roles. Whether you can interact with customer, you can work with yourself, you can work with suppliers and vendors, getting the product done. You can work in research in high-tech environment. So these are the different job roles. So what I mean by breadth of knowledge is being understanding the job roles and what is that is required in that job role. Because of the collaborative nature of product development, all the people are working in a team. If you don't know as a designer where the data is coming from, and if you don't know where your data will be used, you will be working in a silo. So you should know development department what you do, you should know research department what they are doing, so you collaborate. That is what I mean by breadth of knowledge. And I have seen that if you land up into a wrong job, you go on improving your skills but knowledge remains stagnant. So when knowledge is stagnant, your growth is stagnant. You may get promoted, but by virtue of skills, not by virtue of knowledge. And that is very dangerous for long-term career. So Devang, best way to acquire knowledge is through higher education or recertification. In the job, you can acquire skills that are required for you to become better and better in the current job role. Competitive world, yes, there are about 14 lakh people pass out every year, and there are a lot of people from last year who are still struggling. So huge competition. So if you do exactly what I have said in the presentation earlier, what does industry want? What are the skills and attributes required for 21st century? You are going one step closer to reducing your competition. When you say, I am a Skill India certified, 50% competition is gone. When you say, I have a domain knowledge, another 20% is gone. You say, I am a passionate, another 10% is gone. So out of 100%, you are remaining with only 20% to compete with. That is how you need, that is how I did, and that is how you need to work on reducing the, getting ready in the competitive world. I hope, Devang, this is giving you some thoughts to think on.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Now let me go to third year student Omkar Chavan, and he talks about as we know that some industry today are seeing us that student having online education is not good candidate to work. So how we can convince them about our knowledge and the subjects that we have. What are the things we need to do to convince the interviewer? Good question, Omkar. And if you remember, we touched upon that little bit, okay, in the given time available to us. Don't get discouraged with the myth of online education. What do we mean by online education, right? If you have a right attitude, right approach, and positive approach, the laptop screen is as good as you sitting in the classroom and the whiteboard for you. Look at a bigger picture. So if you have that internal desire to learn, suppose for example, let's take example, tomorrow you have a class and Rakesh sir is taking a class and you sit without taking a bath and sitting in your pajama and taking a class and just wearing a t-shirt which looks okay. If you switch on the camera, you have a wrong approach and wrong attitude. But if you sit there as if you are going to college, nicely combed, perfectly dressed, with bath taken, and you are taking knowledge, that is the right approach. That will distinguish you from other people. So here is my request to all of you. Online, offline classroom is very, I can say, minuscule in terms of acquiring knowledge, because knowledge goes from one brain to another brain. There is a USB drive, there is a hard disk, there is a Wi-Fi connection, the data goes. So when you connect with your teacher, when you connect with your mentor, electronic is just a medium. And that is what you need to convince your interviewer, that I am a passionate engineer. Medium is just an enabler for me. And by the way, sir, I have taken the courses from MIT, US, Stanford, Berkeley, sitting in India in the given time available for me. You ask me questions. If I answer, I leave it to you. If you don't answer, guide me what I can do better. So you get into that authoritative mode to tell interviewer that you are moving with the time, you are going ahead with the time, you are flexible and adaptable to these changing requirements, and you guys are blessed with the current time available for you and opportunities available for you. Don't worry about the few orthodox people who will feel that you never went to college 1 year, you had online education, and they may have bad experiences about online education in their life. But there are many people like me who appreciate the flexibility you get in acquiring this education to technology. So build your articulation in such a way that you will convince interviewer that this was an opportunity and you have encashed it. You have certifications for various courses, you have a knowledge, and you leave it to him to interview you based on the knowledge you claim that you have. And if you have done it rightly, I am sure you will be able to answer that. Omkar, does this help you?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now let's get back to the fourth year student. We have Omkar again. What is the scope for mechanical design engineer? So repackaged question, nicely put, very good. Thank you, Omkar, from final year. Mechanical engineering is what you chose, I chose, many of you chose, because you had a passion. I had a chance to go for computer science, electronics, electrical. In those days, computer science was on the top. But I said, no, I want to go for mechanical. Many people says, "Arey, tu kya ho gaya tere ko? You are getting computer science, you are not taking it." I said, I have a passion for mechanical. So why I should go for something which there is no passion in me? So feel proud that you are a part of mechanical patterning. I see you as a passionate person. Okay. How to start with no industry experience? Everybody who starts new has no experience. But experience alone is not required. Have I ever said in the slide what when industry says they are looking for experience in a fresher? They know. They never ask experience in a fresher. They will never ask. They will ask you, have you learned from the projects that you have worked on? Are you able to solve a problem? Are you able to think creatively and critically? So these are the things they are looking out in fresher. So remove the myth from your mind, all of you. Industry is not going to judge you or take you based on the experience you have, because experience comes with working, and you had a chance to work in internship for 1 month here, 2 months here, and that is a small amount in terms of counting as experience. So don't go with weakness as your strength in that battle. Don't say I have 2 months of internship experience and please hire me. You will fail miserably. Say I have 4 years of knowledge with me working in the college. So 4 years versus 2 years, 2 months, you can see who will win. So change your mindset. Go back to your CV, look at the projects you have mentioned, and analyze the projects from industry point of view. Maybe we can help you how you can position your CV so that they will feel value in what you are going to bring to the table. Omkar, are you with me? Adesh, okay. So how do you get your passion? Okay. Then where are you very much aware about your likes and passion in your early days, or just think things that you help you? Okay, all right. Let me split this into multiple parts. Very interesting question, Adesh. You have made right use of this opportunity. If you look at success in the interview, on one side is the passion, rest everything is on the other side. So you can see how important is this word passion. So you are touching the right point, right thing, Adesh, in your question. So how did I get my passion? Lot of things comes from the genetics, your mother, father, and grandfather, grandmother. So I always interacted with my grandparents, always interacted with the older generation people to see what they were doing in their life when they were young, how they used to solve the problems they faced then, because it is genetically getting transferred to you through that system. So go back and talk to your grandmother, grandfather, see what they were doing, what were the challenges they faced, and then how they solved the problem. Somebody may be in the finance, somebody may be in the agriculture, somebody may be in government job. Look out for that. That is one of the ways to discover passion. How to really discover the passion that you like? Through the examples. For example, I used to repair my bicycle in first standard. I used to dismantle the toys and assemble it right from childhood. I used to start driving from a second standard. Then I used to go to garages and sit there with a mechanic and used to dirty my hands. And I realized that this makes me happy. I feel happy about this. I used to pinpoint the problem. This may be wrong. So fault finding, understanding, root cause analysis, repairing the things, whether it's a plumbing problem or electrical problem or mechanical problem, going and jumping into that in addition to your studies. That is how you discover your likes and dislikes and passion. Think about it. Sit in the room. Sit in the garden and see. Okay, what do you really like? What is that makes you happy? And I'm going to share you one link in the mailbox in the chat box. Have you heard about Ikigai? Ikigai is a Japanese technique. Go through the video on Ikigai. Okay? Wow. I am in love with that philosophy of discovering our passion. And I'm sure 90% of the students, there's a 1 hour lecture available on YouTube from Ikigai. If you go through that, you will be able to answer all the questions related to your interest, passion, and your purpose in life. Adesh, is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Good question, Adesh. Let me talk about Tanmay. Okay, Tanmay says, is the certification of the courses necessary or the knowledge about the same will work? Very good question, Tanmay. Now let's look at this in a global perspective. Suppose you know very good driving and you drive on the highway and the police says, oh, Tanmay, please stop. So how will you prove him that you know driving? Ask yourself. You go to airport and say, I want to go to US, I have a ticket. How will they allow unless you have a passport? So there has to be some authentication. There has to be some way to recognize that you are you, what you are. That is certification. What is Aadhaar card? What is passport? What is ration card? What is election card? It is the certification that you are you, and what you are is written in that. That and see, suppose we talk about your Aadhaar card. You get Aadhaar card by virtue of being a citizen of India. No brain drainer, right? It is not rocket science. You go and you prove and you get Aadhaar card. But for driving license, you need to be 18 years old. But do all people 18 years old and above get driving license? No. You have to prove that you know driving in the way they want you to drive. And they say, okay, you certify. We certify you. Similarly, Skill India is doing certifying you from industry point of view, that we certify you know what industry want, and we certify you. So when you go to industry, all right, you know certificate, you are certified, please come. We will hire you. Right, Tanmay? Got it?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good. Now let's go to third year side. We have taken the questions from Danish, Devang, and now Omkar has been done. We talk about Neeraj. Please guide about studying and working in the renewable energy, sir. Are there more opportunities in India, private government, or other countries only? Or as I will like to work in the sector which deals with environment concern. Okay, very good. All right, Neeraj, very good. Hatke question about Hatke industry, and it shows that you are out of the box thinker. You have a boundaryless way of looking at life and opportunity in front of you. You are trying to correlate what you like versus what area you can do. Very good thought process. Now we talk about globalization, we talk about pollution, we talk about environmental change, we talk about greenhouse effect. For last 20 years, since your childhood, I am sure you have touched upon this topic. First standard, second standard, third standard, news, and not many curriculums include this as a focus area. Maybe I'm not sure whether you had environmental engineering as one of your subjects in your BE mechanical. So even if you like, you are not supported with the sufficient academic qualifications to get there, right? So you need to do something extra to get there. It can be MBA if you want to go for a semi-technical path in environmental engineering, or you can go for a MTech into environmental engineering or environmental science. Then you can say you have authority to get into that. And is it important? Yes, it is very important. From nation point of view, from humanity point of view, from the world point of view, it is very important. Is it a high rewarding job? Maybe not today, but in future, yes. If you link all these dots, if you understand that there is a scarcity of energy, there is abundance of energy, how can I link these two without disturbing the ecosystem? So your passion is, there is a human problem of need of energy, problem of wrong use of raw material for the energy. I need to solve it. That passion will drive you to get closer to alternate energy as a career path. And there are many, every company, right from Tata Motors to BMW, they have an environmental engineer. Every product has to go through a product recycle certification path. And that is the job of environmental engineer. Suppose you design a product. Okay, you design a product. So, in addition to the certifications which are given here, there is an additional certification required called as recycling certification. Means whatever parts are used in this, how much percentage will be recycled, how much energy will be recycled to used to recycle that, what will be the use of that recycled products. This you need to certify when you design a product, and that is the job of the environmental engineer. And if you are able to tap this particular potential that you have in you or that interest in you, you can become one of these engineers who are called as product recycle certification engineers. Neeraj, is it fine? Alright, let's jump back to fourth year students. Aditya, sir, how can we build our positive attitude while thinking about our career? Very good. Because when we think about our career, there are many things that come out of our mind, and then we are not able to focus on a particular thing. Yes, I like your justification, I like your comments, and I like your question too. How to build a positive attitude? See, thinking itself shows that you are 50% closer to your career. I am started thinking about my career. Oh, you are already closer. Now, what is positive and what is negative? Positive is in a given circumstances. How do you use resources and limitations that are imposed to the betterment of mankind, for betterment of society, is positive approach. With you sitting at home taking classes, with you not many companies coming for campus, with you not many companies hiring, utilizing this time for reskilling, knowledge acquisition, certification is keeping you positive. Having said so, is it easy? Maybe not easy, because we are not trained for that. Neither our parents nor our teachers are really qualified to teach us how to be positive. They will give general advice. Okay, don't think about too much, take good food, sleep early, do yoga, do pranayam, go for walk, do exercise, which are a very holistic approach towards being healthy. So let me give you some thought. Aditya, there is a illness, there is a weakness, and there is a wellness. When your mind doesn't talk to your heart, when your heart feels ill, you are in negative mode. So your mind-body interaction, your mind-heart interaction, they are a psychology. There's a software part of it. Suppose your laptop doesn't boot, means there's a software problem, right? It's not hardware problem. So your positivity will come only when your mind and heart interacts with each other. And there are different ways to keep our mind and our heart on the track, because these two are required for you to propel in life. Because when you are sitting in front of a computer, your body is sitting, your mind is also there. Many of you, your body is sitting but mind is somewhere else. When you put all these things together, you are a positive person. So how do I keep myself positive? I try to generate hunger for knowledge. I spend a lot of time on Clubhouse. I spend a lot of time understanding history of India. I try to go and see what is Ramayana, what is Upanishad, what is Veda, what is Dharma, what is the real history of our nation or continent. That makes me very positive. You see, those people in those time with limited resources were able to do so much. Today I am blessed with so much of things and still I am worried about my future. That makes you positive. So spend a lot of time on this, and maybe I can create a WhatsApp group which those who are interested can join there. We can have a healthy discussion. I can share a lot of information on that, about the links that are required for you guys to come closer to your natural way of living life and become more I can say, positive towards approach towards your life and career. Aditya, does this give you some thought?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Alright, good. Alright. So now we are on the third year side. Arpita, okay, says, sir, you have said in the previous slide that if you are not good at maths, so you cannot put your interest in the particular field. So would like to give some guidance on that. Alright, yeah. So there's a myth in mind, right? Mathematics, physics, chemistry, what you learn in 12th standard, 10th standard, you never use in your life. Whatever you study in engineering will be never required in industry. This is said by the people who are doing job and not career. Right? So if you ask anybody who is in a career, they will say, please go and visit your 10th standard book. Please go and revise your 8th standard book, 12th standard book. It will help you to become more resourceful to the organization. So Arpita, having interest is just a matter of generating interest. Suppose I don't have interest in biology. Does it mean that biology is very difficult for me to learn? Maybe the teachers who were teaching me biology, maybe the circumstances around me, maybe the mindset I had, I was not able to generate interest in biology. But when I started working on vehicle safety, when I started working on mannequin and safety, I quickly generated interest on human anatomy. I generated interest on human being, muscles, and how does the injury happens in the human being, human brain, human head, human muscles. So the interest gets generated based on the purpose you set for yourself. So liking a subject and liking the domain in which you're going to work are the rule of thumb. They give you indicators of what is that is required for you going forward in a long journey. So you start generating interest, you start liking the subject. Get a mentor, get a coach who will make you feel friendly with the subject, and you will start liking it, because it is not genetically infused in us that you don't like something or you like something. As I said, it is just matter of right mentorship, and we start liking. And the psychometric test really will help me to help you. What type of career, what type of subjects, what type of topics, what type of domain all of you should focus on immediately in near future, in long term, for you to excel in your career. Is that fine, Arpita?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Welcome. I hope we have touched upon most of the questions.
Sir, in the final years, I know. One question, two questions are missed like this. One is asked by Shubham Rathod. What is the scope of mechanical engineering in SAM?
Oh, all right. Let me see.
Final year.
Final year student, Danish, Devang, then we have Omkar, Neeraj. They're third year. Another link. Okay, yeah. So we have Yash. Yeah, Yash, then Jasmeet, Shubham, Sap, right? Shubham Rathod. All right, yeah. So you have touched upon SAP, right? All right, good. So Dhanesh, we talked about 6 options, right? Research, design, development, operations, production and management, right? So operation and development, these two things, when they are computerized, they get into ERP system. So SAP is one of the ERP system. Like PeopleBank, you have SAP, then you have PeopleSoft. these are all ERP systems where right from the finance to the operations to the customer to the delivery, everything is integrated. So, what are the skills and qualities required to be good SAP or ERP engineer? There are different modules. There's a materials module, there's a finance module, there's HR module, there are different modules. So, HR people will tend to use HR module. The production people will be able to use production planning, materials will use material planning, purchase will use purchase. So, all these domains will club together. So, SAP is a tool. So, you say if you go to, suppose you want to play sports, then in the sports there are badminton, then there's table tennis, there is indoor, outdoor, sitting games and mental games. So, which particular game you like will decide what game you should play. So, if you are not very technical person, you don't want to sit and do calculations, you don't want to sit and do some analysis and stress values, you can go for a semi-technical role. That is ERP role or PLM role. Suppose you want to go for product lifecycle management, very interesting career path. You can work on data security, data customization, authority and role assignment. The tools like Windchill, Team Center, then you have Innovia, Matrix. All these are PLM career path. If you are a semi-technical person, if you are a techno-commercial person, then your ERP systems will come into picture. So think over what type of personality you are. Take a help of psychometric assessment. See your personality matches with the ERP roles, and you can go for SAP related courses. SAP is one of the softwares. You can go for ERP course. Then you can claim that you know SAP, and then you can go for SAP as a career path. Yes, Shubham?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Welcome. Answer the role of internship while doing engineering. Yash Patil.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Internship is nothing but an opportunity to acquire experience and skills. Right? So, when you go there for internship, suppose you go into Tata Motors for internship, you go there on the first day, they say welcome, and they will take you around the company and say, all right, this is what you're going to do. They will put you into one department, and then you work there for 1 month, and then you get a certificate and you come back. So internships are of two types: internship by chance and internship by choice. Internship by chance, there is only 50% chance that you will get a right thing that is for you. You may get and you may do and you may come back, that is new for you, you like it because it is new for you. You may or you may not use it in your life. But if you choose internship, there is more than 80% chances that you will get a chance to get the skills that you are looking for. And that process should start from second year. So maybe I will request Rakesh and Vinod sir and HODs to have one more session for the second year students, so that I can guide them how they can prepare for the third year internship. And very good, you have touched upon this point that internships are very important. If they are properly positioned as one of the enablers for you to go in your career, they can make a lot of difference. Otherwise, they don't make any difference in your life and career. Nobody will ask you what you did, but if you did something which is relevant, suppose, let me take an example. Suppose you want to do a job in Whirlpool. Okay, you like that company and you like the products, and you go there and say, sir, this is my job. I have done Creo, I have done this. You have all necessary skills required for Whirlpool, and you say, I have done internship in Air India. I have done internship in Bharat Indian Railway. Then you will say, wait a minute, you want to get into Whirlpool, you did internship in Air Railway, you have worked on workshop, but I don't understand what is the connection between your long-term path and your short-term choices you made in your life. So in this particular case, you better avoid writing that you had internship in these companies, right? So it is not wrong, but it is not appropriate there. Yes, you got it?
Yes, sir.
Right. So alignment is very important. When we talk about every small decision you take has a bearing on your long-term goal and career. And we wonder after our graduation that why we are not getting interview calls, why we are not getting right jobs, because we made some mistakes during the span of 4 years. And if you are convinced about this process, please pass on this to your pass on to this your younger generation, maybe juniors. Importance of long-term career planning. It makes life so easy and enjoyable. I see one question happening here in.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, Yash. Yeah. So, does psychometric test differs with the different industries by Marine Elstron? No, the psychometric test is the psychometric test, right? Psychometric test enables you to know which type of industry, which type of domain you will be more suitable for. Let's suppose you say blood test. So is blood test different for I want to do something or something? Blood test is blood test. What you look in the blood test is different. If there are 10 parameters, you say, okay, I have a cough, let me look at eosinophilia and this. If I have something, I'll look at WBC and this. So psychometric test is a psychometric test. It depends on the psychology analyst, because we are certified psychometry analyst from NASA. So we will be able to help you see the particular part of the test where you will discover what type of career is suitable for you.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye bye.